Hey, well, we need to make sure that we go do it. Hey, welcome everyone into the Seven Figure Agent podcast. Your co-hosts here, Gerry Ruffino, and your boy truly, Earl Hall. Gerry, we're going to be talking today about recruiting, right? I mean, I know I got a lot to say about recruiting and when you should recruit or if you should recruit. I know you got a lot to say about that as well, man. But look, how's your week been for you so far, man? How's it been going?
Dude, it's been good, man. I think as you go into a holiday break, oftentimes people want like to ponder everything about life and
Yeah.
all those things. Man, obviously you do go back and look at kind of where you started the year, where you were last week, last month, last quarter.
Yeah.
So business wise, man, things are great. I think we'll talk a little bit about the building process and pros, cons, and some of my personal beliefs on that.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I think what's cool about what we do, Earl, is that at least for me, I'm in the business of helping people, which is so simple when you simplify it like that, right?
Yeah.
It's not the business of crazy commissions and all these things. Yeah, those are ups and downs and they're part of the business, but why do you do this business, right? So, but on a personal note, man, I'm good. I actually took some time off, took my daughter to her second UT Texas women's basketball game. So that was exciting. She's in love with the mascot, and then the mascot comes close, she runs away. So it's an exciting, never-ending cycle, man.
Oh man, well it's good. I mean, kids are great, especially this time of year, man. I mean, they're excited. Maybe we're excited a little bit, but they're out of school now, so now we got to deal with them being out of school and being in the house all the time, and trying to figure that whole thing out. Luckily, I got teenagers, man. You still got little kids.
No, yeah, you'll hear her screaming here because she thinks the office is where she works.
Yeah, exactly.
So she takes my phone and does some work, according to her.
No, that's a funny one right there. But I mean, even I've got a 2-year-old grandson, man, and the way that he can, he's 2, but he knows how to pick up an iPhone and swipe and get to where he wants to get. I'm like, what are these kids?
Yeah.
How is this thing going? This world that we live in is utterly amazing with the technology that we have, which even makes what we do so amazing. I mean, think about what we're doing right here, man. I mean, you're in Texas, right?
Austin, Texas, baby.
Austin, Texas. I'm over here just 25 minutes north of Charlotte, North Carolina, right? Living in a town called Mooresville. And we're doing a live broadcast on social media. Each of us nowhere near each other. Can you imagine 20 years ago what it would have taken to pull this off? I mean, millions of dollars, and it's not costing us a thing to actually do this and get this reach. And just the fact of being like a life insurance agent and being able to have that reach now that 20, 30 years ago, prior to the internet, no one had that ability. If you were an agent, you were licensed in a state and you had to travel that state, right? And now we have it because of technology, and I'm sure every agent or most of them now have an iPad. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine this morning. I can pretty much run my whole business off of my freaking iPhone.
Yep.
I mean, that in itself, and the opportunities that are here for life insurance agents or anyone that's in business to be able to literally run a business. And it's one of the things, and I'm sure you know who Gary Vee is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he talks about all the time, used to talk about all the time, that whatever business you have to treat it as a media company. Because that's what we are now. It's like right here, what we're doing. This is media to get awareness for what you're doing. I know I'm going to have a conversation at some point about life insurance agents doing their own podcasts, life insurance agents doing their own YouTube channels. I've tried to talk about it, but it's one of those things that I think is still far down the line for many life insurance agents to get as far as how you can actually build that reach. But even in talking about building a team and recruiting, and if you should, it's like if you want to build a team, this is one of the best ways to do it, is to just get on camera, talk about the opportunity, and talk about what it is that you're doing or that you can help people do. But I'll tell you this, Gerry, one of the biggest pet peeves that I have, and I need to see if you agree with this or not. Okay, Gerry, you just recruited me, right? Let's just say that. You just recruited me today to be a life insurance agent and be in your downline.
Okay.
And I just got my license 2 weeks ago. Haven't sold a policy yet. But you as my upline is telling me to go out there and recruit more people. Now, the pet peeve I have about that is, one, if you're trying to recruit me, Gerry, the first thing I'm going to ask you, well, how much money are you making doing this? What are you doing? You know, how are you doing? Because if you ain't doing shit, it's like, wait a minute, why am I going to take this opportunity? So I've always had this tendency to tell life insurance agents when they come to me, it's like, well, my upline is telling me I should recruit. Well, you just got started. Who's going to believe you?
Yeah.
Because they have to buy into you. They're not going to buy into your upline. This is your contact. They need to buy in or will buy into you based on what it is that you're doing. And if you can't show anything, I'm out. That's me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Well, so you know, I've done a lot of thinking, and I've done it all, right? I've done that. I've bought into the, hey, once you're in, you know, you would be selfish not to recruit. What if they're better than you concept? I've bought into all the concepts, and I can truthfully say that for the first time, I feel really comfortable with where I'm at, in recruiting, and I think about it in sports, right? I'm a big sports guy, so you know, if I just joined this, you know, basketball team, or they're recruiting me to join a basketball team, right? I'm a free agent. I can go anywhere I want. Do I want to learn from somebody that's just learning how to pick up a basketball?
Come on now.
Or do I want to learn from somebody that's, you know, made a few baskets, has been successful, has gone through a couple seasons, knows the ups and the downs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it knows what's kind of coming. So the reason that a lot of companies recruit is because they're just mass recruiting and hoping whatever sticks, right? Because here's what happens, Earl. So, and we all know this, right? You get a downline, you have an upline. That upline makes an override on your business, or earns. Some of them don't earn it; they just make it.
Right.
They're supposed to earn it. They're supposed to earn your deal, but most of them don't. So you get on. Earl's super excited. We show him how to sell a couple policies.
Right.
He sells a couple policies. We tell him to reinvest the money. He has a couple bad weeks, and 95% of the time he's out of the business. Well, luckily he sold those, you know, 2 policies, so those are now eventually going to fall into the upline's book of business. And even if they cancel, right, the upline will have access to that information, can go through and say, hey, I saw you canceled on, you know, Earl. I know Earl's fairly new to the business. Unfortunately, he's had some other things that came up where he's left. You know, just wanted to kind of chat and see what it was that happened. And now I'm supposed to be more experienced, so I should probably be able to get that thing right back on the books, or offer them something better. So I'm not a fan of mass recruiting at all, right? It's like throwing spaghetti to the wall and seeing what sticks. Exactly. And even what sticks usually doesn't stick in the long term. So people do it to maximize their social media number sometimes, right? To show out a little bit. But it's not a very profitable business. In fact, I believe that the most profitable, truly profitable way to run a business is for you as a new agent to pick a team that has success. Now, Earl, if you ask any new life insurance agent, okay, that's trying to recruit you, and you say, hey, well, how much money do you make, or how successful are you? And they sell one policy, they're gonna be like, dude, I just made $1,000 yesterday. And that's gonna pique your interest. Right? Because it's not a lot of people make $1,000. Not a lot of people make $1,000 in a day.
Most people we know don't make $1,000 in a day.
That's right. So it's gonna pique your interest, right? So I think we're asking the wrong questions as recruits by the people we're being recruited by. So if you're thinking about going into the business right now, you got to ask more solid business. Now what?
Well, the thing with that, Gerry, is they don't know what to ask. This is, I mean, every last one of us is recruited by someone to get into this business. And so we're attracted to, hey, I just made $1,000 yesterday. Oh, how did you do that? Oh, we'll go get your license. I'm going to show you how to do that. And there's like, I've tried to make videos for the person that isn't licensed yet, or the person that hasn't taken the test yet, or the person that has not been recruited yet, to kind of give them information on those things. What do you need to know before you say yes and sign that paper? Because, you know, Gerry, in a lot of businesses, you sign that paper, it's like you're signing away 2 years of your life if you decide to leave, you know, depending on the organization that you get in. And the people that are familiar with what we're talking about, they know what we're talking about, right? But none of us knew the questions to ask. We were attracted to something that person said, and then all of a sudden we're in this organization, and Now, wait a minute, I got to do all of this. I
Well,
mean, they have no clue what's going on.
but
You know?
Earl, the scary part about what you just said is that it's not just the recruit that has no clue what's going on; it's the recruiter. So,
Mm,
as a recruiter, what I didn't know, right? So, because I was just like, dude, you guys are successful. I'm gonna figure out a way to be successful. So,
hmm.
I would bring people on, and some of them I knew, some of them I didn't, and people would get,
Right, right.
they say, "Hey, we want to put this person on your team." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll take everything." Right, and that was probably greed and not very smart on my end, because what happens is, let me explain to you what
Yes.
the back end looks like a little bit. So I bring Earl on board. Okay, he's on my downline. Whatever his commission percentage is, whatever he sells, 4, 5, 6 policies. Maybe the oftentimes people don't have a lot of money when they come into this business. So when you tell them to go buy leads, the pressure is immense for most of them. Right
Yes.
now, you just
Yes.
drop money that you don't have to make money, and it's like it just doesn't feel right. So there are a lot of organizations out there right now
Hmm.
that are moving more and more to a model where it's like, hey, I'm going to bring Earl in at a lower commission than normally,
Hmm.
but I'm going to give him the leads to call, and I'm going to mentor him one on one.
Hmm.
I'm going to coach. So that
Hmm.
those models, I think, are much better
Yeah, because you can give them
for
the
folks.
leads, right? It's like you get somebody new in, and let's say they have $1,000 to buy leads. Well, guess what? They don't know how to work the phones or sell.
Bro, they don't have $1,000 for the following lead cost.
For the next one, exactly.
Yeah.
So they've messed up those leads, as far as being able to really work them appropriately and dedicated to working those leads, even after
Mhm.
that time has passed. You continue to work those old leads, but now, so you haven't made any sales, so you can't buy the next batch of leads, and now you're in the hole. Your wife's looking at the side of your head like you're crazy. You got the rent coming up, the mortgage coming due, the car payments coming due, and you spent that money because you believed
Yeah.
that
And
that was going to
it could
take
be your
care of
best
it.
friend.
It could be
Yeah, it
your
could be
best
your
friend.
best friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it could be anybody. So, what happens eventually, right? And this happens to most folks, right?
Mhm.
The stat I think is 92%. I think it's probably higher for some folks, but most folks are going to come in when they get recruited in an MLM style, mass recruiting deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they're going to come in, write a little bit of business, and eventually quit because they get hit with chargebacks, right?
Hmm.
So what people don't
Hmm.
realize, like we talked about last week, is that money's not yours. Like it's just a loan that you get up front, right? So what happens
Hmm.
is you start getting hit with chargebacks, and then this is the devil of what happens in this business. If you have multiple carriers, what a lot of these folks do is they'll go and, let's say I have some debt with carrier A.
Hmm.
Well, I'm only going to write carrier B, and then I get debt with carrier B. I'm going to write with C. Before you know it, they got debt with every
You
carrier.
got debt with every
You,
carrier.
as a recruiter, have no clue what you're doing, so you don't even know how to track those things.
Hmm.
And then before you know it, that person left. A couple months later, you get this letter from carrier A, B, C, and D saying, "Hey, Earl Hall, he was a nice man, but he owes us 3, 4 grand each
20K.
from."
You know.
Yeah, or whatever it is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it could be 2K, it could be $500, it could be $200,000. So,
Exactly.
and since you endorsed Earl, see what people don't realize, when you recruit them, most models will have you also like
Well, your name is
endorse.
on that e-app.
That's it, homie.
Your
And
your, I mean, your name as the upline is on that e-app as
and who
well.
gets hit with that debt?
Yeah.
So we call that roll up debt.
Roll
So,
up.
dude, when you recruit people, so in the beginning, okay, I kind of looked at this and I've done some research on it. I think
Hmm.
there needs to be kind of a 3-step model, right? Maybe even 4. So first step, man, is you have to have an employee mindset, right? When you
Hmm.
bring somebody on board, that they're your employee, even though they're not most of the time.
Yeah.
And you gotta hook them up with leads and a lot of coaching. And most of us, right, are spread so thin because we're trying to keep our businesses afloat
Exactly.
that we don't have
Exactly.
time to be coaching left and right, right?
Exactly.
So then you're letting that person down. So until you figure out your products, your system, and your leads, right, you shouldn't really be talking to anybody about coming on board, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Then when you do that, right, you start getting into like, okay, now I know the sales structure. I know how to process things. I'm actually profitable,
Hmm.
and not just what you're making, but like what you get to keep. Now people want to talk to you more. Do you want to be coached by an NBA player? Or do you want to be coached by some sort of middle school
Well, I know when I was with the captive agency, one of the things that they did, which actually may have been very good, is that when a new recruit comes on in that particular captive agency and they do book an appointment, they're not sent out by themselves. They go with a senior agent that can walk them through the procedure of what's done. This is when you're going in-home, right? This is back to the days of going in-home. But you can still do it virtually. But they would go with us, but they would also get a percentage of the sale, right? Because they were the one coaching you. So they got a percentage of your commission because they 100%. Helped you do that, right? And it's almost like the model that you're talking about now. Someone needs to sit with that person like an employee, basically, and say, this is how you do it. Let's hop on the phone. Let's hop on Zoom together. I mean, we could add a third person into this scene, right? And we could, like, I even have another scene in case there's someone else. Like, there could be a person right there in the middle of us. And we could be, like, if you were coaching me, you could listen to what I'm saying and you could say, well, you might want to say it. Well, this is actually how that works, or whatever. But you could actually help me in that whole thing to build out my own book of business. But then you also, because you are coaching me and training me, you deserve something for that. Because I wouldn't have made the sale without you. And then now when you see I'm comfortable, because you're either on Zoom with me or on the phone with me, and you see I'm comfortable because you now don't even have to jump in on me anymore. You're like, fly, little bird, fly. Go and do your thing. Oh, and by the way, let me bump up your commission too.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, it takes time though, or like.
Exactly. It does.
You got to build, you got to have some money. Right. If you really want to like be a recruiter and coach and all that, that will take up most of your day, like all of it. Like, especially if you're recruiting at a mass recruiting level. See, for me now, I don't want to do that. I've gotten really far away from that model. And I only want to talk to people that like I literally like have conversations with and interview and make sure that this is somebody that I can really talk to.
Right.
This is somebody I can really trust. This is somebody that understands the whole business, not just, oh my God, you're going to make $1,000 tomorrow. No.
But that's what they hear, Gerry, right? They're hearing that. They're not hearing the work that's involved, even with that. And then once they get into doing the work, they've forgotten all about they can make $1,000 a day. What they're thinking about now, I got to spend the next 8 hours dialing.
Well,
right.
They're thinking that, bro, but no. I mean, what they're really thinking is, I got to make some sales because my family is too happy that I came to the insurance business, and so you got to have a good support system. You got to get the spouse, the girlfriend, the friend to like be on board. We all know many folks that go into the insurance business and a few days later quit, or a month later quit.
Oh, so yeah.
It's a hard business to stick stick with us, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, he'll do that for a little bit and then quit. So. If you can make it a year, year and a half and actually make it, you could do really, really well. But dude,
it took me, I mean, if I look back on my like most recent experience, I got with a captive agency. I'm trying to remember the month. I can't remember the year, but it was like a December, right? And I left that captive agency to go to an independent agency. Luckily, now here's the other thing too. At the time, I lived in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is called, it is a right to work state. What that means is that even though I was with a captive company, normally in other states, if I leave that company, they can say, well, you can't sell insurance for 2 years. And you've signed that contract. Or you can't sell insurance for 6 months. Or you can't sell insurance for someone else for a year. Basically because they've trained you, right? So they don't want you taking that skill set and going somewhere else. It's like, no, you need to sit here. Wisconsin is a right to work state. So it meant that they could not stop me from going to another organization the next day. It's like, because of the state laws in Wisconsin, which I'm so glad that it was like that. So I was able to immediately go to an independent agency and IMO. And so that was December. I switched to the IMO. I think it was in maybe March. Yeah. And I made, when I moved to that captive, it took me 4 months to make money. It took me 4 months, but when I figured it out that first month, I made $20K because I'd figured it out. I had been taught. But here's the thing too: it's one thing to be taught, but then it's a whole other thing for that recruit to go and get their own education, to go and continue to learn, even outside of what they're being told. That's the hustle of an entrepreneur. It's like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm going to also watch and learn and read, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
With that, a lot of recruits aren't going to do that. They just want to be on the phone with you, on Zoom with you, and just talking. And so you have to learn how to, even coach through that. I'm not here to babysit you. This is your business. You're running it. I'm going to give you the tools. Now you got to go out and do it, dude. You're the one that has to go out and do this. We can't just keep sitting here on Zoom every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you should run. You should run as a recruit. If somebody tells you, hey, when anything happens, just call me. that person's not always going to be available, right? And I tell people that all the time, bro. I'm here for you. Call me. But now, Earl, real quick. So being captive is very different than being independent.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So anytime you sign a contract, you want to read that contract because yes, there are stipulations.
Nobody
like, hey,
reads the contract.
No, but you should, bro. Like
I know, man.
Anything you put your name to,
dude, especially this.
At least glance at it. Like I had recently had somebody try to send me something, and they try to get. It was kind of sneaky, and I was like, I looked at it, I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But my point to it is being captive is very different than being independent, but it's still the same concept, right? In fact, if you be recruited into a captive agency, there's a little bit more wiggle room with the way chargebacks usually work. The mentorship program, because there's people on staff that are paid to only work with that particular company. When you're independent, dude, you're your own, right? Now, in the kind of the steps, or the beginning step, like I was talking about, bro, you're literally an insurance sales guy. Okay, step one, you're just learning the stuff, sales moment, whatever. Step two is when you can understand how to retain clients. Kind of cross sell, how to process, how to make how to actually be profitable. Your cash flow management. It's not just cash flow, but the management part is very, very important. And your placement and your retention rates are good, right?
Yeah.
That's when you start really kind of becoming more of a real broker and independent agent. And then really kind of the next step is taking your agency and hiring your first employee, whether that's an admin or whatever. And now you're really becoming some sort of a business owner.
Because you can't scale by yourself.
No, dude.
You cannot scale by yourself. And I think that's where the wall kind of gets hard and people hit that wall, because it's like, I can't do more. I want to make more, but I can't do more. But guess what? Guess what will happen if you actually let go of some of that cash? You'll actually start making more money, because now you actually are building a team that is responsible for certain things that frees you up to actually start going out and make more money. But people dude, scared money don't make money.
Alex Hormozy said something this morning. I'm looking at his book right here, $100 million offers. But he said something. I was watching a little quick video of him, and I don't know if you know this about him. Yeah, I have that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this about him, but he eats out every day. Okay, he eats out every day, and obviously he's like super healthy and all that. But and the reason he does that is because he's like, dude, I don't have time to cook. So I'd rather pay somebody the money so that it's just like mowing your grass or cleaning your house or whatever, right?
I'm so terrified when my son leaves the house. Finally, because then I have to cut the freaking grass again.
No, you don't.
I'll pay somebody. I'll pay somebody.
That's not worth your time, bro. Now, depends on where you're. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I've said that to my wife, and then while they're mowing the grass, I'm doing absolutely nothing. Well, that's not worth my time or money. Right. But if you're out there working or spending time with your family or being productive, then that is worth your $1 every single time.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what he says. So the same thing goes for this business. You got to hire people, and not other agents, but admins and staff and people that are truly going to help you grow this thing.
Right.
Look, in an ideal world, you would find all these amazing people that want to work with you. Okay. That are actually going to be transparent about the pros and the cons. See, transparency is a major issue, not just in this business, but everywhere else. Because we all live by social media, right? So, look, I love social media. We use it all day, but there are a million people out there on social media that are flaunting stuff they don't have.
Yeah.
Right? Or they're flaunting numbers that make them look good, but they're not profitable. Like they're not actually earning
all
that.
day.
So we have a lot of fake rich people on social media, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like whatever, if that's what you want to live your life by, that's awesome. But I've tried to do that, right? We've all have,
Mm-hmm.
and that doesn't give me any fulfillment. It gives me more anxiety and stress. So the only way that I can
Definitely.
continue to do things is to help provide for my family, my kid, my wife, and um, if somebody out there really wants like the ins and outs of the business, man, I'll gladly help them with that because I think it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well, that's why
can't
you do
promise.
that free Zoom session every day too. It's like you're scrolling across the screen. The link is in the description for anyone that wants to hop on those Zoom calls with Gerry, and you can hear real pros make those calls. That's what needs to be done. Definitely.
Dude, that yeah, the Zoom, dude. You know what's been crazy about that? So I had that idea because a lot of other groups were doing it, and once we all came together with, AJC and Arturo and everybody. I was like, dude, we're all doing the same thing. Why don't we kind of
Mm-hmm.
do it together that we feel like we have a team, right? So we started doing that. And the beginning, it was just like one or two of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny. You know what I've noticed? Has nothing to do with recruiting, but
No, go ahead.
it could. But you know what I've noticed? So we have a couple guys that are doing fairly well in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody does well, but like a couple of the guys that have stand out, right? Um, and it's always us, usually us two, maybe three guys
Mm-hmm.
that are unmuted and talking and going through our calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're usually the ones that are doing the most work, right? In regards to the most applications and everything. So I tell these guys all the time, like, look, man, if you just unmute and not be shy and let us hear what you're saying, like, I say a lot of stupid things on calls sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then like somebody could turn around and be like, man, why did you say that? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I really totally messed that up. Or let me tell you why I said that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a reason to the madness. So, um, yeah, dude, did you have to work so hard in this business to be successful? I watched a recent video that really, really kind of hit the nail on the head, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna pull this up actually because I was like, man, this is freaking awesome. And he talked about in the telesales business, which is what I'm in now. Okay, check this out, Earl. There are kind of 5 things that will kill your business. Okay.
Okay.
Um, the first one is changing directions too often, which all brand new agents do all the time. It's
Shiny
like, oh,
object syndrome. Shiny
for
object
sure.
syndrome.
It's like, oh, I'm doing this. Oh, no, let me go to this. And then, dude, you got to give, dude, if you go to the gym twice, right, your body's probably going to be sore and you're going to feel it, but nobody's going to be able to see crap, right? You got to go there consistently. You got to commit to it. Um, so I thought that was awesome. Number 2, staying in a dying trend.
Mm.
You know what's a
I
dying?
watched. What's so stupid, Jerry? I watched that same video yesterday.
Well, because I sent it to a few of the guys.
Yeah, you
so
said
maybe,
I watched that same video, so I know exactly the video you're talking about.
so I was like, damn. Okay, well, I'm sitting here thinking, well, what's a dying trend? Like leads, right? That
Mm-hmm.
people are just charging you random leads, like, and we'll talk about that too in a second. But that's a dying trend. Like people are not going to continue to fill out that information. So there's a lot of dying trends in this business. Recruiting at a mass level is a dying trend because most people are getting so much roll up debt that it just keeps going up and up and up. And
Yeah.
eventually you don't want to pay $100, $200, $300,000 of money that it wasn't even yours.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Number 3, I loved is being influenced by social media, all the fake assness going on out there, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Like I already like there's people that promote themselves to be really cool and awesome and great.
Mm-hmm.
Yet like they've gotten, you know, uh, they've gotten kicked out by carriers because they do a bunch of unethical crap. Like get out of
Mm-hmm.
here, man. Don't talk to me about how to sell when you may look good on paper, but once they pull the covers back,
Yeah.
you're a shady.
Well,
You
that's
know what I'm
too,
saying?
Jerry, a reason I know like captive agencies don't really allow their agents to do stuff on social media or even run ads because it's like, no, you're representative of us and that crazy stuff that you may do. No, they've got to go through compliance and stuff like that. So captive agents, it's like, no, captive agents can't even come. We can't take them at AJC. A lot of them try and come, but we know they're not going to be able to do what we would, require them to do that we know that would help them.
And that speaks volumes to AJC because
Mm-hmm.
if somebody's opening their wallet and wanting to give you money, most
No,
people
we
are gonna
don't
be
take
like,
it.
yeah,
We don't take it.
come over. But
There are certain companies, I won't name them here. There are certain companies we will not work with because we know through history that no, these guys are not going to work out because they can't do what we'll show them how to do.
because
So
they're
we
changing
don't
direction too often.
exactly.
They're staying in
Exactly.
a dying trend. They're being influenced by social media.
Hmm.
The fourth one, dude, I think it's what kills a lot of people, right? It's not having a sales structure. So, when
Hmm.
when 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 you have a lead coming in, is your sales structure just to pick up the phone, call them, book an appointment, go out to the house, and pray to God you close the deal?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your retention process? What's your
No clue.
what's your follow up? None of that. So, and
No
I'm not
clue.
saying you need to know that overnight. But you need to work with somebody that has one. And then my favorite one, I don't know about my favorite, but the fifth one I thought was freaking gold. Was working with third party lead vendors. Okay.
You know
When
how I feel about that, but
So, dude, so a lot of these companies, right, that are selling you leads also have life insurance agencies, right? So, they're punishing you on both sides of the ball. So they
mhm,
don't care whether you sell insurance or not because they're making money on the
they're only
leads.
buying the
Okay,
leads.
and especially like MLM style, mass recruiting or anything like that.
Hmm.
Like they'll sell the lead once, they'll wait a month, sell it again, and they'll do it again. And dude, they sell the same information 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
And even the 10th time, it's 25 cents a lead, and you're like, "I'll take it."
Was it
Right?
that
So what?
same? I think wasn't it in that same video we're talking about where the guy said he was? Some people tried to sell him back his own information.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the same video. It's like that was like crazy to me.
it
Um,
happens, bro.
he thought it was exclusive to him, and he's going out to try and get more information, and they're trying to sell him back the same information he already had.
That's
That's
it. So
crazy, and that's what's happening here.
yeah, yeah, no. So dude, they're I got to tell you, man, 2023, I'm super excited about. I've been doing a lot of thinking about the business and kind of what we're
Hmm.
doing here. And dude, if people watch this and they don't understand this by now, I hope they do. We're not just sitting here trying to talk about nonsense. We're sitting here trying to give you guys
Hmm.
some pretty cold facts about what it is that's going on, right? So this is a beautiful business. Okay, life
Hmm.
insurance is a
Yeah.
necessity. Okay, let's not get that wrong. People are passing away every day without it, and it's putting families in a tough spot. You yourself watching this may
Hmm.
have a family member going through something very difficult with a major diagnosis.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
and your family, right, outside of spending time together and loving on each other and making
Hmm.
sure you can do that, usually can't do that because you got a financial stress and you got to keep working harder than ever to
Yeah.
kind of keep making it, right? Especially if somebody just got diagnosed with,
It's
you know,
real. I mean, I live
crazy
it.
stuff, bro.
I live it, Jerry, because it's like one of the best things I did was back. My wife and I back on the 11th of this month. That was our 18th year wedding anniversary. So we've been together 18 years now, married 18 years. We have 4 kids, and when our first child was born, I'll never forget. A Northwestern Mutual agent approached me and said, do you have life insurance? I was like, well, my job. And he said, well, can I come and talk to your wife? And he came to the house and we talked to him. But it was because my wife had said to me, we need to have some life insurance here.
Yeah.
So we have 4 kids. Each of them has a minimum of 20K on them, still to this day. Now, all of that is cash value. So I've been building cash value in all these policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have $500,000. My wife has $500,000. So the point that I'm not talking about this to talk about how much life insurance I'm having, but I am a type 2 diabetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on medication. I have neuropathy. So I'm on medication for neuropathy, right? I knew that I wanted to up my life insurance. I'm 53 years old. I can't afford more life insurance to the level that I would want it. That to the level that I think I would want it, like $1 million, right? On like I can't even get it. I tried once, like last year, to get approved for an IUL. I was thinking about, let me just see, and I got denied for the
Mm-hmm.
insurance. And so these things that these life insurance agents are dealing with, it's like this is real life. And imagine
Yeah.
if I had never gotten that life insurance for the price that I got it in my 30s, what I'd have to pay for it now in my 50s.
Yeah.
With the medical issues that I have. It's like trying to describe, and this is why I talk about life insurance agents having a YouTube channel to literally talk about these scenarios, because you guys have a lot of scenarios to talk about because you talk to a lot of freaking people with these different issues and they're getting denied and they're doing this. Telling these stories you guys need to tell these stories, not on the call. These stories need to be told in a video format where you're just telling a story and people will see it. You just have to put it out there. It's a long game, but it will get you clients. It is definitely, it's not like going to happen for you tomorrow, but you start stacking on one video a week. Like 1 week I'm talking about cheap term insurance. The next week I'm talking about how you can use IULs to protect your income if you're hurt or injured on the job. Talking about annuities, talking about whole life insurance, the cash value. It's like telling these stories and mixing that in with people that have these challenges is something that no life insurance agent is doing. But I believe that it is something that would work for them. And that even falls over into the recruiting side, talking about your life insurance agency and why and the type of person that you want in. And then also what it's going to require to succeed. Literally telling the freaking truth and letting the truth stand out there on their own. And then guess what? Those people or those potential recruits that see that, now they know. And now they're a better fit for what it is that you want them to do, because now they know before they got in.
Yeah.
Make some YouTube videos, life insurance agents out there, for God's sake.
Well, so dude, it's funny you bring that up. It's funny about what you're talking about, because you got to be able to buy the product, right? You got to believe in this stuff. I got more insurance that I probably know what to do with. I got cancer, heart, accidental, vision, dental, hearing, health. I got multiple 7-figure policies on myself, but the only one I'm really proud of is the one for my daughter.
Wow.
Okay. And that's the only one I care about. And people are like, "Oh, that's so weird. You're getting life insurance for your daughter." I'm like, "No, I got my daughter a universal life insurance plan that's going to build value over time."
Dude,
I don't
you're
spend
gonna
a lot
hand her
of
a
money.
gift. You're gonna hand her.
I don't spend a lot of money on it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't spend. I mean, I probably drop a little bit over 100, 150 bucks a month, right? I'm going to do it until the time I retire. And at that point, she can decide to do whatever she wants. If I happen to pass away tomorrow, it's getting set up where the money will still that policy will still be getting paid through my own life insurance. So
yeah,
and the
exactly.
reason I did that is because I like the cash value component. I want to be able to leave her with something. I don't care what her death benefit is. That's irrelevant. But it does have living benefits also.
Yeah.
And more importantly, like if she gets to some sort of retirement age, God willing, she's going to have plenty of money in that account to retire and not worry. Or if at some point she wants to start drawing money, right, she can do that. So you just want to give your kids options, man. Like, and that's what.
Jay, I'm gonna talk to you later. Look me up. Find me. See if you can find me something, man. See if you can find me something with all my bull crap going on with my own health. I mean, I feel good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like dying or anything like that, but I do have type 2 diabetes and I do have neuropathy. If people know what that is, so I'm on like pregabalin. Is one of the things that I'm on. But anyway,
when you're not in the insurance business, you have no clue what these things are. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. I remember, I won't forget this, dude. When I was actually getting recruited, I watched a bunch of videos and they're like training and stuff, and they kept saying the word neuropathy. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what that is.
Look, you don't want it. I can tell you that. You do not want it.
No, I mean the tingling in the feet and the pain that you go through
makes no sense.
If you're not careful enough with the diabetes and stuff, like I deal with several. I just had a client the other day that had an amputation due to diabetes. I didn't even know.
I have an aunt that had that.
Bro, I didn't even know. I didn't know that you had to get like amputations for diabetes. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, my uncle had his whole bottom below his knee. I had an uncle below his knee. He had to get it amputated. That was 30 years ago. But yeah,
it's serious stuff. So, dude, I mean, look, hopefully, I think the goal is for people to be having some fun here, and I want to be more intentional as we go into the new year.
Absolutely,
with giving you guys some like tactical things that you can take today. So, I guess as we kind of close here, I want to make sure that today, if you're an agent that's trying to recruit, ask yourself why. Is it because your upline is telling you to recruit, or is it because you're ready to start mentoring, coaching folks? Do you feel like you have that knowledge?
There it is.
Do you feel like you have the knowledge, the time, the energy, and the finances to recruit? In corporate America, when somebody hires somebody, that employer spends a crap load of money to bring one person in, right? Because they have to hire, interview, market,
Right.
pay all these people to interview them and everything. So same thing here. It's not like you just get a pass. So as you go into wanting to recruit, why do you want to do it? And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, people are gonna. Uh,
Yaha is asking what company with. I was with the last company I was with was Family First Life.
Okay. Yeah, I'm personally with a little bit of everything. So I got a few contracts, but
Mm-hmm.
I have some with Family First Life. I'm very independent now, so
Mm-hmm.
anything that helps me do that, man. So, but ask yourself why, man, and like understand how this business works.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right, the ins and outs of it. I'm not saying you need to be an expert tomorrow, but if they just tell you, hey, go tell your friends and your cousins and your family how amazing this opportunity is, you're going to get them all here. They're going to roll up some debt. They're going to get pissed at you, and your family
Yeah.
vacations and holidays are going to look really, really bad.
I'm gonna shout you out here to Yaha My Rock. There's a link. I hope I'm pronouncing that name, Yaha My Rock. There's a link in the description that will take you to Gerry's Zoom sessions. Hop on there. Gerry will talk to you about anything, man. And he's a wealth of information, believe me. So hop on that Zoom session that's in the link, and you can get some more information from Gerry. And it's so funny because there's so many different. Well, we know of a couple. Gerry, their whole push is recruiting. It's not even life insurance. It's just recruiting and recruiting and recruiting, which makes no sense to me. And I know it makes no sense to you, but there are those models that are out there.
It doesn't at our level, but
No,
it makes a hell of a lot of sense when you're,
the top of the IMO or the top of the agency.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about issue paid production business.
Right.
So, yeah, dude, it makes a hell of a lot of sense when you're at the top. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on them. That's their business model. Hey, more power to them. A lot of these companies have built a freaking powerhouse, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But they've done it at the cost sometimes of other folks, and they just blame it on people not working hard. You know what Alex Hermosi said that makes me laugh so much?
Was that?
I hear people in our industry say nobody will outwork me. I work harder than anybody else.
Yeah.
And Alex Hermosi's like, dude, that's when I hear people say that, it's such a total joke. Because he goes, I don't work that hard. I just make way more money than them. Because I figured out what I needed to do. I figured out the niche and I'm doing it. So you don't. Okay, what I'm about to say.
I'm not going to get it twisted with Alex Hermosi, right? Because he worked his ass off to get to where he is, so that now he can cruise. He got out of the atmosphere. He was in the rocket ship. He blasted off. He needed to use all that energy to get out of the Earth's gravitational field. Now he's floating because he did all of that work prior. So I'm not getting that twisted either. He grinded to get to where he is.
He had to. So, but you know what's crazy? My first year in this business, I was working 70 hours a week, like driving and moving and shaking, and put 30-some thousand miles in my car. I was driving all over town, getting on planes, doing all this thing. And my profit margins were so slim that if I went on a travel trip, and I didn't make that income, I was in trouble.
Oh, don't tell me about the travel trips, man.
So, I mean, dude, they were fun. They were cool. We were all, but in the last 6 months, let me rephrase that. In the last probably 4 months, so in the last 4 months, I have. This sounds horrible to say out loud. Probably worked less hours than in my entire career, which is not something to brag about. But I've been able to spend more time with my family. Yet I'm more profitable now than I was then.
You were then.
Because of intentionality. So,
Rock, answer this question for you, Yaha Rock. Do you think Family First Life is a good company to work with for a new agent?
Look, I think I think for you, you got to find the right mentor. Okay, I don't necessarily believe that it's one IMO or not the other. Definitely it's all about who you work with. Like, definitely. I mean, you're going to have some people at IMOX that are amazing, that are going to help you, and you're going to have some people at IMOX that are going to be horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't just go with any Family First Life person. Treat this like an interview. Be like, hey, so what are you gonna do for me? Like, how can you help me? Like, these are my needs. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. This is my my budget. This is what I can do. What's the way to go here?
Get on Gerry's link. Definitely talk to him because I mean, like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge. Yaha My Rock. Just get on his link and he'll talk to you about that. But I mean, my experience with Family First Life was a good experience. I mean, but I think Gerry and myself have kind of a really different mindset because it's not the IMO. It's me, right? It's me. The IMO is just there as a structure for me to be able to do the business that I want to do. That's it. I didn't necessarily look at whatever IMO or even captive agency I was with to make me money. I knew I had to make the money, right? Oh. I had to do it. I don't care. And I tell people, I don't care where you get your leads. I don't care what agency you're with. You've got to figure this out. You're the one that has to do this. No one else is going to do it for you. But you get that backbone and that structure, whether you're with, company X, company Y, it's all on you. It is all on you. So, yeah.
Well, and just to tell you how I started, I did start with Family First Life when I got into the life insurance business. Mm-hmm. I started out as a part-time agent because I had a full-time job and I couldn't just quit cold turkey because I have a family to support. I was working more than ever at the time because whenever I was off of my full-time job, which I was working 60 hours a week at,
wow.
I was working at an enterprise rent-a-car where it was like, dude, we were pretty busy, right?
Yeah.
So if you need any tips on rental cars, let me know.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of secrets to that business. But I was doing this on the other side, and eventually I realized, hey, if I do step A, B, and C, I can probably make a little bit of money and be more profitable in this regard and work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely the scariest thing I think I've done in a long time. Not ever, but in a long time.
Yeah.
And over 2 years, 2 years later, still rolling and feel much better today than I did back then. So, anywhere you go, you can kind of figure it out, right? But you need good mentors and you need good coaches.
Yeah. Well, man, look, this has been a great, man. I've loved this conversation. This has been, out of all the shows we've done, this is the third one, and I just love this one on this. So I'm enjoying doing this with you, Gerry. I need to tell you that too, just how much I respect you, and that's why I wanted to do this show with you. You were the first and only person I reached out to do this podcast with, because I knew you'd be banger on it, and you're proving it out to be absolutely true. And the resource that you are to life insurance agents is no joke. So I just wanted to let you know, dude, I appreciate you like a mug, like for real, dude.
Same, bro, same. I mean, it's been a fun ride, right? We're just getting started though. Like we just getting started. We want to get more information out to people, man. Everybody enjoy your Christmas,
absolutely,
holidays,
man.
whatever you believe in your own life, but enjoy every moment, man. Every day's a blessing.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks so much for being here with us today on Seven Figure Agent Podcast. Love you. My name's Earl Hall. Gerry's here with me. That's my boy. That's my road dog on the show here. Make sure you do go ahead and click on that link in the description so you can see what Gerry's talking about as far as with how they have those conversations. You can hear real sales going on, right? And you can participate in that whole thing. Listen and learn, ask questions. It's great. Also, you want over 30 hours of free training. The link is in the description. We've got it for you right here at Arturo Johnson Consulting. We're going to be back here for you next Thursday, rather. I'm sorry. Every Thursday, we're here at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. And we'll see you then. Have a happy holiday this weekend.